Welcome to this episode of Pigs and Panzers. Today we have a special treat for you. This is our Indomitus Battle Report. Well, that's sort of misleading. While we are celebrating Indomitus and the return of Warhammer in its 9th form, 9th edition, we are not going to have any of the Indomitus models in our armies, simply for the fact of we haven't got them painted yet. We've got them built and are divvying them up. I've got some of them primed, but they're not quite ready for the tabletop yet. So what we do have for you is we have a battle report pitching Ultramarines versus Necrons. The cover art, kind of, between Ultramarines and Necrons. So it's going to be about a 1,275 point battle, roughly 70 power-ish between the sides. The power is actually kind of off. The Ultramarine force is about 64 power, and the Necrons, I think, are about 72, but yet they're within 1 point of each other. The Necrons clocking in at 1274, and the Ultramarines at 1250, or 1275 on the nose. So, let's get right into it and take a look at our armies we have for you today. So both of these are going to be battalion detachments. We have a battalion detachment here of the Ultramarines 2nd Company, led by none other than Marinus Kelgar himself. Now, with this detachment of 2nd Company Space Marines is a small supporting detachment from the 1st Company that we will see here in a moment. So, our battalion basically is organized this way. Our warlord is, of course, Marinus Kelgar himself. The troops choices we have is we have a tactical squad with the sergeant having a chainsword and combi plasma, and the special weapon is a flamer. And we've got 2 intercessor squads, both with bolt rifles that you can see there as well. For our fast attack, we have an Inceptor squad with what you see is what you get, the assault bolters. Then we have some elite choices. We have a Redemptor Dreadnought with an Onslaught Gatling Cannon, Fragstorm Launchers, an Icarus Pod, and a Heavy Flamer on our Redemptor there. And for our Hellblasters, for our heavy support, we have a unit of Hellblasters with the incinerators there that you can see. Now, our warlord is, of course, Marinus, but we have, from the 1st Company, we have a lieutenant with a plasma sword, and he doesn't have a chain sword. He has a power sword for our battle report today, but he also has the Artificer Armor Relic, so he'll have a 2+, 5+, invulnerable. And then we have a Deradeo, Brother Ordinatus, is with us this afternoon. Now, because of the points, I couldn't do the autocannon battery like I like to run them with the automatic Pavis, which is that funny little custom thing I put on top of them there. So he's going to have the Hellfire Plasma Incinerators, I think is what they're called, the plasma variant, and the twin heavy bolters. So that's about the cheapest you can run him. He's going to have no top options there. So, but that's our battalion, right at 1,275 points. Of course, Marinus Kelgar is equipped with what you see, his standard gauntlets and all of that craziness and shenanigans. So I'm going to be starting with 14 command points because Kelgar gives you +2 if he is your warlord and your detachment is Battleforged, which ours is. So that is the Ultramarine 2nd Company with some 1st Company support as our battalion level there. Now, this is our Necron force. Now, our Necron force is our custom dynasty we call the Isatum dynasty. Isatum is the Babylonian word for fire. And these guys are going to be using the Mefrit Solar Fury dynasty choice, the dynasty special ability, so they'll get +1 AP within half a distance to their range. So this again is a battalion detachment, and in this detachment we have our warlord, our overlord here, and he is going to have the relic Void Reaper as well as a resurrection orb. His warlord trait is going to be the eternal Destiny, Eternal Crusader, Eternal something. The Eternal Warrior, I believe is what it is. And basically that gives him Enduring Will. That's what it is. Basically reduces any damage he takes by 1 to a minimum of 1. So you're going to have to sort of tick off wounds off of him. But he's there with our Cryptek. Our Cryptek has the Canoptic Cloak and of course his Staff of Light as well. And then we've got our 3 troop choices. We have our Necron Warriors. These are old warriors, oh no, with the green rods of power. But these guys there's 12 of them with their Gauss Flayers. Next to them are 2 units of Immortals, 5 Immortals each, 1 with the Gauss Blasters and 1 with the Tesla Carbines. And then we have some elite choices. We have our Lich Guard. Now these are sword and board, so they got the dispersion shields and the phase swords. So those are going to be hopefully hanging around the Overlord there. And then we've got some fast attack. We've got some Scarabs right there, Scarab Swarms, just because we can. And then we're going to have some Wraiths. Now these 3 Wraiths are going to be armed with transdimensional beamers. Now, I've never ran them that way before. Usually I run the pistol, the particle caster, whatever it is. So this transdimensional beamer is a heavy weapon, but it gives you D3 shots. And it's basically, if you roll a 6, you get a mortal wound on a wound roll on top of whatever damage you get. So it's going to be pretty interesting how those are going to run. And then we've got here, we've got our heavy supports. We're going to have our, I believe he's a heavy support, I'll have to look at that later, but that's our Doom Spider, our Canoptic Spider. He's got the particle casters, 2 of them on top there, as well as the Fixie Array on the bottom. Then we've got our Annihilation Barge with the Tesla cannons and the twin Tesla destructors underneath. So that's going to be our Annihilation Barge there. And then, of course, over here, we have the Doomsday Ark. Doom upon the Ultramarines. Now, this thing I just finished painting last night and early this morning. So he's going to be fun to play with today. He's got his Doomsday Cannon, of course, on the bottom. And then those Gauss Flare arrays, which, you know, is 5 shots each. He's got 2 of them, so that's 10 shots within 12 inches. Since they're rapid fire, that's 20 Gauss Flare shots within 12 inches of that beast of a monster. So that is going to be pretty cool to see him in action for a change. So this is 1,274 points of Necron tier, of Necrons, as well as 1,275 points of Ultramarine. So this is Indomitus. These are our Primaris brothers going up against these dirty, filthy, fiery Necrons. So the Isidum dynasty takes to the field in force. These are the most Necrons we've had painted up. And so this is going to be an interesting battle report. So we're going to go ahead and set the table up, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So we'll see you again real soon. All right, here we are. The table's been set up. We've decided our mission, and we went ahead and deployed our forces. So we're playing a Strike Force mission out of the chapter approved book for the Global Tournament 2020, and this is the retrieval mission. So there are 6 objectives scattered around, as you can see. They're set out according to what the mission has us do. And so there's 6 objectives, and we're playing the short ends. So Nate won the roll-off and decided to be the attacker, so I am defending. So the way we're working this narrative is the Indomitus Crusade. Marinus Calgar and his Ultramarine force has arrived, scouring the battlefield for certain items of import to Guilliman and the Crusade. So they've arrived and have been busy scouring the battlefield when all of a sudden the Necrons show up, and they have decided to come and spoil the party. So they've launched a surprise attack against Marinus and his guys, and so that's the narrative that we are going to play out. So just shout out the battle mat that we're playing on today is from Game Mat EU. Great customer service. They shipped relatively quickly. You're seeing it's coming from the Czech Republic. It got here fast. And then some of the terrain, the ruins, those are from Greenleaf Terrain. Adam did a great job putting those together for me. Then of course we've got various GW plastic kits out, and the Sector Mechanicus and all that stuff from Shadow War Armageddon. So as you can see, I've deployed the Ultramarines here, and they're going to holding that objective. I've got an intercessor squad over yonder trying to approach that objective, and another intercessor squad and the lieutenant here backed up by the Redemptor. I put one unit in strategic reserves, that is the Daredale, and then my Inceptors are flying high, hopefully to come in later. Now my son Nate has deployed the Necrons. Like you see here, he's got his Warlord with the Lich Guard over on his left flank. He's got some Immortals there with the Gauze. He's got his Annihilation Barge, and he's got his little Scarabs holding that objective. He's got some Warriors coming down the street, backed up by a Cryptek, supported by the Doomsday Ark, and another unit of Immortals with the Tesla Carbines over there. He put 2 units in strategic reserve. He put his Wraith and his Canoptic Scarab, or Canoptic Spider, in strategic reserve. So that's kind of where we are. So we're getting ready to roll off to see who gets turn 1. So let's go ahead and start. So Nate, you get to roll off and go ahead and roll. And Nate gets a 2. And I'm gonna roll, and I get a 6. So I get to decide who has first turn. I believe I will take a first turn. Marinus Kelgar, you think you may have surprised him, but he has said, you know what? I am a master tactical genius, and I have been suspecting this attack, so therefore I am seizing the initiative, and I am going to strike as soon as these lumbering metallic behemoths of doom show themselves. So we're going to go ahead and do our movement and come back for Ultramarines turn 1. All right, we're back with Ultramarines turn 1. I've done my movement phase, so I've basically moved my intercessors into this building to claim that objective, and moved these intercessors into that building to claim that objective. My Redemptor has moved up to hopefully engage that Doomsday Ark over there. My Hellblasters have moved along the wall to commence firing at that Doomsday Ark as well. My Tactical Marines have sort of shuffled around, trying to get that other plasma from my Sergeant into range of that Doomsday Ark, but he is sadly out of range. So we're going to go ahead and commence some firing. So we're going to go ahead and do our shooting phase. So we'll roll those dice and see what we can take off. So we'll be right back. All right, we are back after our shooting, and it was quite an exciting round of shooting. The Hellblasters overcharged and laid into the Annihilation Barge, doing a total of 8 points of damage, dropping it below half. Then the Redemptor walked up and with its Onslaught Gatling cannon did all but 1 damage onto that Annihilation Barge, thanks to really good rolling a bunch of 5s and 6s to wound. Plus the Devastator Doctrine's in effect, so that was a -2 AP on that Onslaught gun. And then the Icarus Rocket Pod, because it's, you know, that has the fly key word fired. I got 3 shots, but I only wounded with 1. Nate failed his save roll, which would have done 2 damage. It would have gone the way of the Dodo, but he rolled. Did a command point reroll at my suggestion, rolled and saved it. So that was on a 6 he needed, because again, Devastator Doctrine, it was -2. So that Doomsday Ark is there with 1 wound left. So that's going to be some awful shenanigans going on. The intercessors fired at the Immortals. Got 2 hits because those are the only 2 guys that could sort of see them, but they did not do any wounds. So we have finished Ultramarines turn 1, going on to Necrons turn 1. All right, we're here. Necron turn 1. Nate has moved his forces up. As you can see, the Immortals over on that side have begun their slow advance up the flank. The Warriors have moved here. That objective is still open over there. The Doomsday Ark has remained stationary because we're going to try to fire it on overcharge superpower annihilation. The Annihilation Barge has moved up over here. And these Immortals have come down and are marching this way. And the Lich Guard and the Overlord are commencing their move as well. So this is Necron movement from turn 1. And we're going to go do some shooting and see what transpires. We'll be right back. All right, that was Necron shooting. And the Necrons have put 1... they had 5 shots coming out of that Doomsday Ark, supercharged into the Redemptor. Thankfully, only 1 hit. And Nate re-rolled, did a command point re-roll to try to get another one in there, but he couldn't get it. So yeah, so that's a good for me. But he still did 6 damage with that 1 shot, so he's down to 7 wounds. Other than that, that was all for Nate's turn number 1. So we are now moving on to battle round 2. All right, here we are, battle round 2, Ultramarines turn number 2. So as you can see, the movement basically was these intercessors continue to fortify that position. The intercessors over here moved up to the 2nd story to secure that objective even more. Our Redemptor friend did a shuffle step over to the other side of that building to be able to pour fire down into these warriors. And then our reinforcements have arrived. Calgar issued 1 command, spring. And now they have sprung. The trap and our Inceptors have arrived into the backfield. Our Deredeo has sauntered up. He has literally crawled out of this sewer cover right here. He just popped up, springing the trap from the Master Tactician Marinus Calgar. And he's got his plasma weapons pointed right at that Annihilation Barge. So we're going to see what transpires. The tactical doctrine is now in effect. So we're going to go and start some shenanigans with the Ultramarines and see if we can eliminate that Doomsday Ark. It's got 3 wounds left. So here we go. Ultramarines turn 2. We're going to go into our shooting. We'll be right back and see what kind of devastation the boys from Ultramar can do now. All right, that's the end of Ultramarines turn 2, and it was a bloody turn for the Necrons. First off, the Hellblasters fired another volley and destroyed the Doomsday Ark. I used a stratagem, the Martial Prowess, which allows 1 model to auto hit. So that only mean I had to roll 4 hits, so I had guaranteed 1 supercharged hit on it, but 4 hits, 4 wounds, and yeah, did enough damage to take those last 3 wounds off, and she was no more. Then the Redemptor Dreadnought came up with its Fragstorm cannons and fired those first, because I knew if Nate pulled those other front ranks away, they'd be out of range. And 12 models in that war unit means that they were both 6 shots automatically because of blast. So that was 12 shots, did some damage there. The Onslaught cannon fired, killed some more. The intercessors up here fired and killed some more. And then we came down here. The Inceptors fired 2 guys fired into the warriors. The heavy bolters from the Deredeo fired and basically eliminated the entire warrior squad. The Deredeo fired his plasma into the Annihilation Barge, annihilating the Annihilation Barge. All 5 shots hit, all 5 shots wounded, and yeah, that was 15 damage off the bat. So the Annihilation Barge did not survive. We fired the last Inceptor into those scarabs, killing that one and putting 2 wounds left on another scarab base. So with that round of shooting and with the victory points, right now at the end of my command phase, I scored 15 victory points because I control 1, I control 2, and I control more than my opponent. So I get 15 victory points. I get 4 additional victory points because of Line Breaker, because these 2 guys, that was another secondary objective. These 2 guys are sitting here. They would give me Line Breaker. And then my score tally for my other secret secondary objective, which was Thin the Line. I have got quite a tally of kills, and I don't think that includes the Immortal. This man right here shot and killed one of those Immortals coming out. So yeah, so the Necrons are in a bad way, and after deliberations with Nate, he has decided to surrender because he just does not think he could play it out and actually achieve any of his secondaries, because he had Thin the Line running. What else you had? Thin the Line, assassinate, which is kill your warlord, which means he'd have to kill a character, so we'd have to go after the lieutenant, and Marinus are the 2 characters. And domination, which is have more objectives than your opponent, which I control 3, so he'd have to try to push me off 1 and keep me from capturing another, which would be difficult for him to do. Plus, he's at the end of this turn, he's already 20 victory points in the hole. Almost 20 victory points in the hole, and he's lost a lot of his firepower with the Annihilation Barge and the Doomsday Ark both going down. And I told him, I said he bet the whole farm on going first. That's why he deployed that Doomsday Ark so aggressively. He could have kept him back and out of range of the Hellblasters and everything, but he chose not to. He chose to be aggressive, and sometimes aggressiveness bites you in the butt, doesn't it, buddy? Yep. Yep, you bet the farm, and sometimes you lose. So he has conceded, and so this is an Ultramarines victory. So thank you, Nate, for playing.
You're welcome.
We love you, and we are glad to usher in this new era of Indomitus with an Ultramarines victory. So here we go. This is Ultramarines are victorious and have driven off the Necron horde, and so hopefully we'll have another battle report before too long. So thank you so much for watching Pigs and Panzers, and we'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye. So I just spoke with Nate, and it appears that we did something wrong, and we always try to admit to our mistakes when we make them, and that is that the Deredeo should not have come in here. According to the rules, on turn 2, strategic reserves can come in on any table edge except the enemy's table edge and could not be set up in the enemy's deployment zone. So he could have come off over here, or he could have come off over there, just not in the enemy deployment zone. So more than likely he would have come in here. He still would have been able to blast the Annihilation Barge. So I don't think that would have changed all of that much. The warriors might still be alive, but I fired, I got the Deredeo only killed 2 warriors, and I had a bunch more hits and failed saves from the Inceptors, which can come in because they're not strategic reserves. They're just deployed flying high, however you say that. So I do apologize, and I know you guys might have seen that and screaming at the TV. But so talking to Nate, asked him if he wanted to go through and play it back out, and he said no. He said he didn't think it would change the result that much. in long run, it may have extended the game a little bit more, but he was, I think he was done. So, but that does help us learn for the next game, and because these are learning experiences, we still don't get rules right, and this is really our first big game in 9th edition. So, anywho, thank you for watching here on Pigs and Panzers, and we will see you again next time. Take care. God bless. Bye bye.